We're going to go ahead and do another Google Hangout here on Knicks Bros TV. We have a special guest today. His name is Rallo, and if you guys haven't watched his channel, please go on his channel and subscribe. Rallo, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Rollo Officiant. I go by Sports in the 2, and I appreciate y'all having me on the air.
Yeah, no problem. We've definitely watched some of your videos. You know, we know that you speak a little bit of Knicks basketball here or there. We truly appreciate that. And next, I have my brother, which is my advocate of the channel, Dalmon. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, you guys probably already know me. This is Dalmon. You know, me and my brother have this channel, mostly talking New York sports. You know, right now we are during the basketball season, and so mostly stick with the Knicks. But we do throw in some Giants and Jets here and there if there is any off-season news. But mainly Knicks for right now.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started with the first question. And the way I'm going to basically go with this show is I'm going to ask the question, put my input as far as the question is concerned, and then I'll see what you guys have to say about it. So the first question is, do we really expect the type of start for the Knicks this year? Quite honestly, if you guys watch my previous videos, especially the one I made in the beginning of the season, I ranked the New York Knicks as 8th in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, I'm being a typical Knicks fan, looking at things the wrong way. But you know, when I look at the entire roster right now, you know, it's kind of the same team that we had 2 years ago. We went 40-plus games. We do have a couple of figures that you know, are not present. I know we're missing Novak. He's missing the three-pointers for us. But we did get rid of, you know, Raymond Felton and Chandler that we all thought was a distraction to the team. We acquired Calderon, and we acquired, you know, Shane Larkin and guys like that. And we thought it's going to be a very positive attribute to the team. Now, we all know that Calderon was not able to start the season for us. The same thing goes with Bargnani. So, to an extent, we've had a very injury-prone season. But the way I see it is, with the type of players we have on the court right now, with Melo sitting out, Stoudemire sitting out, we're counting on Early. We're counting a guy we just signed from, you know, Westchester. The fact that, you know, we're 5-34, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So when I hear all these little chants about Derek Fisher being fired and all that stuff, it's just silly to me. So, Raul, I'll have you answer this question. Did you really expect this type of season for the New York Knicks?
I believe they was not going to make the playoffs, to be honest with you. I've been covering games for a while, and I just knew last year was going to affect them this year. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs at all, so I'm not surprised about their record. What I am surprised about is the trades they made so quickly. In the end, I believe they setting up something for like a Kevin Durant or Marc Gasol possibility. That's my inside information on what's going on with the Knicks. They're looking forward to 2015. If you listen to Phil Jackson, he was talking about 2015 to 2016. So that's why I look at the situation when it comes to the Knicks. They're looking more this season coming up than this year.
Did you expect the type of performance Carmelo Anthony has, has been playing, the way Carmelo Anthony has been playing this year? Did you expect that from him this year?
I believe the Knicks should not have got Carmelo Anthony, to be honest with you, when they did that trade 4 years ago. They should have waited patiently. I believe they gave up too much for him at the time. Compared to the Knicks record, Denver has a better record. Imagine if you guys would have got Fareed, McGee at that time. What would the Knicks look like right now? Better than what they look today.
D, I'm going to bounce that question back off to you. Did you expect the type of start that you've seen this year against the Knicks?
Definitely not. At least not 5-34. You know, I mean, I expected a little bit more. I mean, when you look at the talent on the roster, you know, Bargnani, J.R. Smith, what's his name, Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, you expect something more than 5 wins, you know. But unfortunately, the team was hit with lots of injuries. You know, working with a new system, and looks like lots of the players didn't buy into the system as much. But listen, 5-34. You know, I rather at this point just as they say, tank it, go for the first round draft pick, and And hopefully, like Raulo said, 2015 we got some good free agents like Marc Gasol, uh, Goran Dragic. You have you got Rajon Rondo, and those players are available to him now, and he has about 30 million of cap space. And the way I'm hearing is he's gonna kind of spread that between the 2015 and 2016. He's gonna have enough money left for Kevin Durant when he's ready to be a free agent. My opinion, or what I think is his grand plan is to have Melo, Kevin Durant, and maybe Goran Dragic, Rajon Rondo, or Marc Gasol on the same team. So it all depends how things gonna work out. But as far as I see, that's a plan for right now.
Okay. You made a couple of good points. Now we'll kind of get into as far as tanking is concerned and us losing the rest of the games going into the season. I want to know what you guys' take is on Derek Fisher. I know he's been a little bit on the hot seat. Obviously, it's New York. If you're not performing or you're underperforming, you're definitely going to get booed at the Madison Square Garden. What is you guys' take on Derek Fisher? Is he really as responsible as people make him out to be? I mean, when I sit here and I look at the team that we have right now, and you're preaching patience to probably the worst city that probably lacks patience. I mean, you're telling New York to be patient. That's like, that's the total opposite of what New York stands for. But it's kind of like the whole John Itzik and Rex Ryan situation. Not saying that Phil Jackson is John Itzik or whatnot, but it's like Derek Fisher doesn't have any talent on his team. Or if he doesn't have talent, they're injured and they're on the bench. So is Derek Fisher really responsible for the results of the season? Go ahead, Rallo.
It's his first year. Here's the problem with New York. You just pointed out something really interesting. New York people are not patient. The guy just came this year. Phil Jackson came a year and a half, actually a year. It's going to be soon. So let's see what they do 2015 before you get all frustrated. I know it's been a long time since 1973. It seems like eons ago. People have to understand the business of what's going on. It's up to James Dolan to open up his pocketbook, stop being cheap, and let Phil Jackson do something with this team. It's all on James Dolan. If he allowed Phil Jackson to do what he has to do, we will have a team going into next year. If not, you got to look at the owner at the end of the day. And that's what the fans have to understand with that.
That's true, and we all know that this summer, before Dolan hired Phil Jackson on board, he did get under a lot of pressure, and I'm pretty sure the decision that he made of bringing Phil on and letting Phil have all the power, bouncing all the power off to Phil was a desperation move. D, what's your take on Derek Fisher and him being pressured in New York?
Listen, in my opinion, anybody that says Derek Fisher has to be fired, they have to be taken out and escorted out of the stadium. Because that is there is no reason for anybody to chant Derek Fisher needs to be fired. In my opinion, with all the pressure and all the garbage talent that he has at this time, he has done a great job being patient, teaching these new kids the new system. Triangle offense is not an easy offense for anybody to pick up, and he's trying to implement the offense, teaching the new kids. And also deal with some veterans that do not want to buy into the system. When you think about all that and how patient he has been, that is remarkable. And the good thing about it is that Phil Jackson, as a president, he has his back. So that's always good. You are not going to see a real Derek Fisher until 2015 when he has the talent. Then you will see, if he's capable of what Phil Jackson thinks he is. Okay, so until then, we are not going to be able to really evaluate him much, but there is no New York fan has the right to chant, fire Derek Fisher. That's absolutely unacceptable in my book, and, I do not appreciate that. So with that said, my opinion, he's been doing a great job. I like what he's doing for right now, and, there's another year or two for this team to be a contender. So we will evaluate him when it's time.
What's amazing is from the time, from 2000 and up all the way to 2014, I mean, the Knicks haven't been a really, title contender. They haven't been very relevant. We went through the dark ages of Isaiah Thomas and all that stuff. So it's amazing how all of a sudden the New York Knicks fans or the New York media, as far as the basketball side is concerned, is so wanting to see this dynasty that hasn't even really began yet. It's going to take a process for us to be able to get to where we need to be, and for us to have the type of Laker expectations that we want here in New York. So now I know my brother mentioned something about tanking, whether if it's right for us to tank and go into the season and try to lose some of the games. I'm not saying that they're doing that on purpose and going out losing out games, and I'm not sure if that's what he meant. So I'm going to let my brother start off with this one and kind of open up a little bit as far as what you meant about tanking the rest of the season.
Well, let me before I get on that, let me kind of continue on what you just said and what Rollo said, that this team been during all bad seasons since 1973. So the reason we brought Phil Jackson is to bring us a winning culture, and to implement a new culture, a winning culture, is not going to take a day or a month or 6 months or a year. It's going to take a little bit of time for the New York Knicks to adapt to this culture. So this losing is part of that. You're not gonna bring Phil Jackson just because he won 11 rings, and all of a sudden overnight your team is gonna be the best team in the NBA. Okay. With that said, tanking, yes. I don't mean go ahead and lose the games on purpose, but if you look at it, you don't have the talent really to win. So whether we like it or not, we will be losing. And we'll have at least one of the first 5 picks, if not the first pick in the draft. And the way I'm hearing the guy Jalil Okafor, they really rave about him, and they kind of hold him as the next Tim Duncan with a little bit more skill. So if that guy is who they say he is, listen, might as well go for it. Yes, you have only 25% chance to win the lottery. But, if you win, you might be the next Patrick Ewing. If you win, you might have a better chance to build a quicker championship team.
Rollo, what's your take on that?
I agree with D on that, because the last time they had something good was with Patrick Ewing, but I don't know. It's like they don't know how to make various decisions on certain issues. They go overboard with the thing. They don't look at the bigger picture. I just hope that they do better this coming season. They need it badly. They really do.
So one question I have is, with us tanking and with us losing some of our games, what that does is it makes New York Knicks not a very attractive site for free agency. Well, at least according to certain individuals, by us losing the games that we are losing, it's very hard for a free agent, let's just say some of the guys you guys mentioned, whether it's Aldridge or whether it's Rajon Rondo and guys like that, wanting to come to the Knicks. So how attractive do you think the New York Knicks is as far as recruiting for free agents? Go ahead, Rollo.
I tell you right now, I got a lot of insight on a lot of stuff, and 9 out of 10 times I'll be accurate. I believe Rondo is coming to the Knicks. I believe Aldridge is coming to the Knicks. When I watch some of the games and I observe every game carefully, I've been seeing Aldridge and Carmelo talking a lot when they play against each other. I see Rondo talk to Carmelo. If you get those 2 guys, you'll have a chance going all the way. Those are the 2 guys you should look forward to getting.
Okay, D, go ahead.
Listen, I don't care if you're going to lose the rest of the games, all the way through the season. New York is a place for free agents. We have the money. We have the bright lights of MSG, and any free agents would love to come to New York. And with Phil Jackson being the president, he has the power of persuasion, and he'll be able to persuade those players to come to New York. And you know what? Every player in this league plays for the money. We have the most money, and they would love to come and play in MSG with Melo. And like Rollo said, I think Rajon Rondo is going to come. If it's not Rajon Rondo, Dragon already, said that he would love to play in New York and play for Phil Jackson. If it's not Marc Gasol, then it's LaMarcus Aldridge. Either one are great players. I would take either one of them. And then you still have enough money left for Kevin Durant the next year. And just think about this. If you have a team that has Melo, Aldridge, and Rondo, there is no way Kevin Durant is going to say no to that. Because if he knows if he's coming to that team, they're going to win multiple championships back to back to back. Because who are you going to cover? You're going to cover Melo, Durant is going to score. You're going to cover them too, Aldridge or Gasol or whoever is going to be in that team is going to score. Or you're going to have Rondo penetrating through the lane all day long. So Phil Jackson has a plan. And listen, you know what? I might be just a typical New York Cavs. I'm seeing the picture like so big, but this is what it looks like to me. I mean, he has 30 million cap space. Hey,
he's such a typical Knicks fan, isn't he, Rollo?
Yeah, he's very passionate.
We'll just buy everything. All right, so next question is going to be, this is an interesting one. Should Carmelo Anthony shut down for the remaining of the season? Now, here's my take on it. I don't think he should shut down. Here's the thing. I'm not expecting him to go out there and play every single game. Not at all. I know where a lot of people are coming from. Hey, let him shut down. Let him, rest that knee. But for me, it's like, don't shut down all the way. Play maybe one game a week. Still maintain certain chemistry with the team. Be able to bond with the team. I don't see anything good coming out of from a guy that, that's obviously going to regress for the rest of his career. I mean, I think Carmelo Anthony is at his peak or has already reached his peak. So I think, for him to shut down for the entire season, it's not going to be a good thing. As long as, he's still healthy enough for him to be able to produce once a week. Rallo, what's your take on that?
I don't think he should. Excuse me, y'all. I don't think he should step down for the remainder of the season. He should fight it out. I mean, it's not only because he's getting paid a certain amount of money. If you look at the statistics, if you want to attract players, even if you're losing, you want to show that you still care at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's a business. You have to play for what you work for. I believe in hard work. I don't believe in laziness. That's another thing. It's too much laziness going on in the NBA. It's too much political PC crowd taking over the NBA. And this is why we have a lot of mess when it comes to the Eastern Conference, if you look on it from a political point of view. So I think he should play. But knowing the PC crowd and all these constituents, they're not going to allow him to play. That's my take on it.
Good point. And I know my brother is going to differ on this one. What's going on, D?
Listen, the way I see it is, Phil Jackson already came out and said that Melo is going to eventually need a knee surgery. Okay, so if he's going to need a knee surgery, I don't want him to play. I want him to go get the knee surgery done, rehab, and be ready for the next season. But he doesn't require knee surgery. I do agree with Rollo. He should play. I mean, we are paying him $24 million, $25 million a year. I expect my star player to be on the field, on the court, and play the game. And like you said, if he can't play every game, that's fine. 2 games a week, it's all right. As long as he's on the bench and he cheers the guys, that shows that he cares. But if he requires knee surgery, then I think he should go get the knee surgery done so he'd be fully ready for next season. Otherwise, I do agree with you guys that he should be on the court. He should be on the bench. Even if he's not playing, if he's in the street clothes, he should be sitting next to Derek Fisher just to learn the triangle the best way he can, and then be ready for next season and cheer the guys.
Here's the other thing. And what I want you guys to look at is I want you to point out to me one player on the Knicks that has really surprised you this year, and I want you to pick out one player that has constantly disappointed you this year. I'll go ahead and get started on my first take. The person that wows me is Early. I think just Early to me is an all-around player from what he's shown this year. Obviously, it's been very early. He's only played a couple of games, but the couple of games that he's played, I think he's going to be a great attribute to this team. The one player that has disappointed me, and the reason why I say that is I want to see more consistency out of him night in, night out. One thing I feel like Derek Fisher needs to do to help him out do that is have him play more minutes, because he's the type of player that it's going to take a while to get him into a rhythm. And once you get to a rhythm, he does a good job, and that's Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway is not the type of player that's going to come in like J.R. Smith did and be the sixth man and be able to, come out in big moments and make something happen. He's the type of guy that's going to miss a shot or two, but he's going to get warmed up and be able to do well all throughout the game. So, Raleigh, give me your hot player and give me the player that constantly disappoints you in the New York Knicks.
I'm not mistaken, the Galloway. I like that Galloway point guard. If that's his name, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
I like that guy. I love his aggressiveness, his cohesiveness. He should be the point guard. He's better than Calderon. Calderon's been a disappointment to me. He does not fit that system.
Yeah, Calderon has been a disappointment. I know my brother's got some stuff to say about Calderon's disappointments because we expect a little bit more out of him.
So Galloway should be playing, no doubt about it. I like Galloway. I love his hustle. He reminds me of those old school players we grew up with. He's just taking. Yeah, he's hungry. It's not so many hungry people. Everybody wants to relax like they celebrities and stuff. You ain't no they're celebrities in different ways, but you ain't no real celebrity.
Yeah.
Get your behind and work. What happened to these guys? They playing soft these days. What's going on with the NBA? I mean, this is ridiculous. I got a game to cover you guys tomorrow, and I'm just looking at everything. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. It's not the same like it used to be 4 or 5 years ago in the NBA. It's not.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. D, what's your take on your number one player, and who do you think that disappoints you in game?
Listen, disappointments are a lot. Like Rollo said, first of all, Calderon has been an absolute disappointment, and I hope Phil Jackson is able to trade him because he has still $14 million left on his contract, and you want to get rid of that because this guy at this point is garbage. Let's trade him. Let's give time to Langston Galloway. He's been impressive. I'm talking about, he reminds me of Mark Jackson when he used to run the point guard for the New York Knicks. He's great. He plays hard. He, goes hard to the basket. And then when he gets on a roll, he can shoot the 3. He can shoot the 2. I like him. He can run a triangle. So I like him. I like Early. I actually coming around to like Shane Larkin. I think he's a good backup. For 10.
I agree.
Cole Aldridge, another player that I'm impressed with. He is a great backup. If you
especially
have
a post player.
Or if you have Marc Gasol, Cole Aldridge can give you 10-15 minutes quality time off the bench. So those are all the good players. I like them to see play more at this point since since we really don't have the veterans, they all hurt. Let's give time to these young players to show themselves, to get more comfortable, because they are the ones that are going to be on the payroll going forward. We are not going to have Amari Stoudemire. We are not going to have Calderon. We are not going to have Bargnani. So they're not going to care about learning the triangle. They're not going to care about, hustling much right now. So let's give these young players time to play, so we know what we have next year. Like you said, Early just got back from a knee surgery. He only played 2 or 3 games, and I've been impressed with him. And I think with more time and consistent playing time, he's gonna get even better. I've been very disappointed in Tim Hardaway Jr. Not only because of his shooting, but just the attitude that he shows on the court. That lack of hustle.
Frustrated very fast. Yeah.
When he misses a shot, he drops his head and he just starts walking back instead of hustling back. Those are the points that really gets to you. You can miss shots. That's fine. It's basketball. But you got to show poise, and you got to show that, you care and you play hard. And Hardaway has not shown that so far. And
it always goes back to the
way
leadership,
the way I'm reading, Phil Jackson is at the point that he's really closely monitoring Hardaway. And if he doesn't get his act together, he'll be the next to go alongside of Calderon. Go
ahead, Rollo. You were saying something?
It's all going back to the leadership of Carmelo Anthony. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think he's a real leader. He's not. He's not a real leader. I like the guy. He's aggressive. He takes it to the basket. The strongest player we've seen in a long time since LeBron. Those two are the strongest players to guard against. And, he just don't have the leadership quality.
That's exactly what I said 2 months ago, and I had all the Carmelo Anthony fan clubs just attack my video, just saying, Carmelo Anthony is a heck of a player.
Yeah, you're going to have these liberals come at you.
he's a superstar, he's all that, but his leadership qualities lack. I told you, how many times have you seen him get into someone's face on the sideline because they missed a shot? I haven't seen it. So here we go. Obviously, we just talked about Galloway. That was going to be my next question. What you guys' take was on Galloway. What's your take on the point guard position? Should we go out there and get somebody as a free agent? Should we draft someone as a point guard position? Is there someone within our team right now that we can say, hey, going to the 2015-2016 season, this is my guy that I want to see as a point guard? And then Rallo, in his previous video that I watched on his channel, he kind of pointed out the point guard position in New York Knicks history and how it's always been lacking in that position. Rallo, go ahead and take this question.
Y'all have to get Rondo. You have to get him. He solidifies the whole situation. If you don't get him, you're going to be having a lot of issues again. The point guard and the power forward position will complete your team. Get Aldridge, get Rondo, stop playing around, get the conservative basketball. Because when you look at the Western Conference, when you watch the championship last year, you had the liberal Miami and the conservative Spurs. Conservative basketball wins. When you play as a team and you share, you win championship. And that's what Golden State and a lot of teams in the Western Conference is doing. The Eastern Conference wants to play one-on-one. You're not going to win one-on-one. This is not the showboat days of Dominique Wilkins and Earl the Pearl. They're trying to be flashy but don't have the class to finish it off. That's why somebody in the Western Conference is going to win at the end of the day. Once again, it's just proven. It's a proven fact. If you play conservative basketball, you share, you give it to your big fella, feed it in the middle, take it out to the point guard, switch your guards to the side, let them hit the threes, post it inside, and you win. It's simple as that, but people want to make things complicated. Beats me. That's how the Knicks got to get out of that liberal state and become conservative, like they did in the 70s, when they had Walt Clyde and Earl Pearl and Willis Reed.
Good point, Rallo. D, what's your take on or point guard position going forward, and who is the future that you see on this team in the point guard position?
Listen, I agree with Rallo. I mean, if you can get Rondo, definitely go after him. He's a great assist guy. He can drive to the basket and score. If you can't get Rondo, then you have at least to get Dragon. You have to get one of them too. Your first priority be Rondo. If you don't get him, then you go after Dragon. And then you're going to keep Galloway as your backup because he's only 23 years old. He can learn under Rondo or under Dragon for 3 years, 2.5 years, and he can become your primary, point guard when Rondo is on decline or Dragon is on decline. And Galloway, he's only 23. In 3 years, he's going to be only 26. So he'll be ready, learn the whole system and be your future, point guard in 3 years or so. But until then, you're going to need a Rondo or you're going to need a Dragon. So you definitely going to need a point guard. And power forward, definitely, like we talked about, Aldridge, Gasol. You know what? For some reason, you can't get any of them two. I think I'll be even satisfied with Paul Millsap. If you can't get, Aldridge, or I can't get, Paul Gasol, you can get Millsap for a cheaper price and have even a little bit more money left for 2016. And he's been playing great. He has nothing less than Aldridge or Paul Gasol, Marc Gasol. I'll be happy with that as well.
Let's talk about the triangle offense. I know this has been a huge topic. I've never seen any style or any coaching style be showcased so much on televisions. I mean, ESPN makes a huge deal out of it. Everyone talks about the triangle offense. They make it seem like this difficult thing to learn. Obviously, we saw the Lakers and the Chicago Bulls do it very successfully. Here's my question as far as the triangle offense is concerned. I know you guys are all aware that we traded J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert. J.R. Smith went to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he had a couple of things to say about the triangle offense. And he stated that sometimes, it's good for the coach or the people who are running the organization to work around the talent of the basketball player, meaning put to the side as far as the triangle offense is concerned and let us run the offense based on our talents. And, he did struggle his first game, but the second game where he played against the Warriors, he had a very good game. So do you think maybe we're forcing this triangle offense on the New York Knicks? Go ahead, Raul.
The triangle offense is similar to the San Antonio Spurs. It's all conservative. you gotta have shooters. That's the basic of the triangle offense. I play the triangle offense. I know it, and it's conservative basketball. You feed your big man like they do Tim Duncan. You put the outset, the guard on the sideline. You put the small forward on the other side of the corner. You put your big forward in the middle, just like this Memphis Grizzlies do. That's the triangle offense. It's Princeton basketball, but they don't have the right type of players to me, the Knicks, for that type of style. That's why they made those trades for J.R. Smith and Shumpert. They don't fit that style. They run and gun team. You got to get players that could play conservative triangle offense. It's a simple game. You got to get a big fella. If y'all get that #1 pick, I like him. That guy is he from Syracuse or Duke? The #1 center y'all talking about? Duke. Okay, yeah. So you get somebody like that. If you don't get Gasol or Aldridge, you happen to get the first round pick, you get him, and you get Rondo. You could have set a few players here and there, for the bench. You good to go. That's my thoughts on the triangle offense.
Go ahead. Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rollo. What's your take on the triangle offense?
Just like Rollo said, triangle offense is based on shooters. You gotta have shooters. You gotta have cutters. A triangle offense is based on ball movement and player movement. Lazy players, sometimes like J.R. Smith or Iman Shumpert, don't want to run, don't want to do the cuts. They just want to stand around, get the ball, dribble, and shoot the ball. That's why it's hard for those players to get triangle offense. In triangle offense, you got to move at all times. You got to be ready to shoot. You got to cut. So it's not rocket science. Just like Phil Jackson said, it's a system. Like say San Antonio Spurs, they bring players to play in a system. They don't change their system based on the talent of the players that they have. They have a system. They bring players to play in that system, and that's what Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher are trying to implement in the Knicks organization. That you have a system, and we're gonna clear, the roster and bring the players that accept that system and are good in that system. And like I said, triangle offense, it's no rocket science. Any player can play in it. You just have to hustle, and you just have to have a higher shooting percentage.
Here's my good point, Steve. Here's my final question, and afterwards, if you guys got questions, be more than welcome to ask. But this is the rest of my questions that I've written down. Is we all know Phil Jackson started his wonderful career with the New York Knicks as a basketball player, and it was amazing to see Phil Jackson back home where he belongs as a president for the New York Knicks. Do you think that Phil Jackson has taken the right job? Should he have taken the job with the Knicks? Because obviously there was a couple of other positions he could have taken. I know the Lakers were debating whether taking him back, but did Phil Jackson make the best choice for his career? Because after becoming the president of New York Knicks, this is it. The guy's in his mid-70s, I assume, but do you think Phil Jackson took the right job at the right time? Go ahead, Ralph.
Yes, he did. I believe he did. It was due to happen. It should have happened 5-6 years ago. It should have happened before he won his 11th championship. But it is what it is. New York have a knick-knack of taking things too slowly and emotionally attached to other things that's not necessary. But the point of this is, the point of this situation is he did the right thing by going on a marketing point of view. Even Jordan acknowledged that and gave his respect, a player that we know was one of the best of all time. You got a lot of people in the business point of view say this is a good move for the Knicks. Now, can he attract players? We will find out in due time. He has to step up on a conservative point of view. He's not coaching. He's the president now. He has to separate from his coaching to be president. This is a different ball game when you become president. A bigger responsibility than being the coach on the floor.
How much influence do you think he has in Fisher's coaching?
He wanted Steve Kerr. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He wanted Steve Kerr. When you look at that Golden State Warriors, look at the record. Not only the record, like he really wanted Steve Kerr. That hurted him. When you watch it again after Steve Kerr denied to come to the Knicks, it hurted him. He has respect for Fisher, but he really wanted Steve Kerr. There's no denying that. He wanted him some Steve Kerr.
Let me ask you this: Do you think Golden State Warriors already had a team already established, and Steve Kerr just came there and just, was a cherry on top of the ice cream, or do you think Steve Kerr really has been, the drive for the team?
Yeah, he's been a drive for the team. I like Mark Jackson, but Mark Jackson was too calm with the situation than Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr put a fire on Steve Curry and them guys. And the guys love playing for Steve Kerr. They respected Mark Jackson, but he was too much busy into other stuff that he should not got himself involved in. That's why they let him go. So Steve Kerr is doing what he's supposed to do, coach. He stays in his place. He gets in the player's face when it's necessary. He don't sugarcoat nothing. Mark Jackson was sugarcoating things. That's why the Golden State Warriors is a legit team now.
Good point, Raul. Do you think Phil Jackson made a wise decision for his career by joining the New York Knicks? And if so, kind of talk to us about that.
Listen, I don't care if Phil Jackson won 11 championships and Derek Fisher has a 5 championships. If Phil Jackson manages to bring 1 championship to New York, that will equal all his 11 championships plus 1. He took the job that if he succeeds and if he brings that championship, his legacy will be greater than anybody ever in any kind of sport. So he did that with the vision of bringing that championship to New York, and I believe if James Dolan doesn't get in his way, he will be able to bring that championship to New York in a few years. It might not be the next year, it might be 2016 or 2017, but he will deliver on his promise if nobody gets in his way. With that said, I have to disagree with Rollo regarding Steve Kerr, that Steve Kerr took over a team that has Stephon Curry, has, Thompson, has, anybody that you can think of, and that team is basically a star by themselves. But you have to give prompts to Derek Fisher for taking on a New York team that he already knew they have lots of problems and they're going to be in a building stage. But he took that job, he showed character that he can build, and he will not go down because the team is going to be in a rebuilding stage. But Steve Kerr took what was ready for him. A team that has already all kind of stars and was already set, already been to playoffs like 2 years in a row or something like that before that. And he went in. I'm not saying he's not doing a great job. He's doing a good job. He's doing a great job as a coaching, but he took over a team that already had all kind of stars on him. I would love to see if Steve Kerr would have been able to do any better with the Knicks, right now in this situation than Derek Fisher.
Well, that's a good point. And one thing that I would like to happen is for us to be able to turn this around, as soon as next year, just because I just feel like we need to take advantage of the Eastern Conference for as weak as it is. We all know in the 90s we had to face, Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls, and we played, very tough Miami Heat teams in the late 90s with Patrick Ewing. So I want us to be able to turn this around as early as 2015 for us to be able to, turn this ship around and not be able to, be faced with a really, big team to be reckoned with. Because right now the Cleveland Cavaliers have been a huge disappointment. Gasol has come huge for the Chicago Bulls. What do you guys' take is on the Eastern Conference? Go ahead, Rallo.
It's Toronto. I like the Atlanta Hawks. They're the real deal. Atlanta Hawks is the real deal.
They play as a team.
They is the real deal. They surprise a lot of people. They don't surprise me because they should have went to face Miami in the 3rd round. When they played last year, I knew they was going to be great this year. It's just hands down they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. Toronto is so-so. Washington is so-so. I mean, Cavaliers is the Cavaliers. They're all right. They ain't all that to me. I believe LeBron's going back to Miami. I'm on the record of saying that. I believe he's going back to Miami. But That's another story for another time. But Atlanta is the real deal. The Hawks is the real deal. They're going to be a threat in the Eastern Conference. That's my take on the Eastern Conference.
D, what's your take on the East?
Well, Eastern Conference, like we know, I mean, very weak. Cleveland is a big disappointment. I don't think that trio over there is gonna work. I'm pretty sure Kevin Love will opt out of his contract this offseason and probably end up with LA, if not with the Knicks. I don't know, but we'll see. Chicago, I don't know about Chicago, man. I still Derrick Rose is on and off sometimes. You know, if it wasn't because of Paul Gasol, they wouldn't even be where they are right now. Atlanta Hawks, like Rallo said, I'm very impressed with them. They play like a real team. I love Atlanta Hawks. I think they have a good shot of winning the Eastern Conference. But otherwise, every other team in the Eastern Conference, they're just everybody's in the same level, really. Beside the Knicks, that's all the way in the bottom. But every other team, they can win. But Atlanta Hawks just elevated their game to the next level, and I like to see them to win the Eastern Conference and go for the championship.
Where's your image? We're losing your video.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I see is picture.
Is it back yet?
You're MIA, literally. No, you're not back. You're having technical difficulties, my friend.
Yeah, technical difficulties, yeah. That's how we can explain it.
Well, at this moment, I ran out of my questions. Rallo, do you have any questions you want to discuss in the New York Knicks?
So what's your take on the job of the GM Steve Mills? He is not a good GM at all. So I want to hear your pointers on Steve Mills' position at this appointed time.
Honestly, I just feel like, Phil Jackson runs the show. And, as far as the GM is concerned, I mean, it's just a matter of the, master plan Phil Jackson has drawn out for the New York Knicks. And that's just really being patient. That's really being able to trade individuals like Calderon to be able to clear up that cap space for us to be able to free up that cap space going into 2015, 2016. So I really, honestly, to be able to judge him and the way he's been going forward with his job is very difficult for me to answer, just for the fact that I think Phil Jackson is drawing up the plan. What's your take on that, D?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, sometimes I don't even think Steve Mills exists. The only way you see it just sitting next to Phil Jackson, like a hangout buddy. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's involved in the trade or like Phil Jackson tells him to make phone calls or what he does. He doesn't talk to the press or anything. I mean, so we don't know what he's doing. To be honest with you, in my opinion, it's all Phil Jackson, and he's just Steve Mills that's making phone calls. But I might be wrong, but that falls on Steve Mills, because Steve Mills is just like nowhere to be seen unless he's just sitting next to Phil Jackson and chit-chatting about whatever they're chit-chatting about.
Rallo, it seems like you got a couple of things to say about the GM. Go ahead.
This guy, the movie, I can't remember this comedy movie, but he reminds me of the comedy guy. He's just there just for nothing. Like D said, he don't even exist.
And Dolan has been known to do that. He's been known to pay people not doing anything on.
I'd love to have a job like that. Listen, give me a job.
I agree. I agree.
Hey, let me get GM Knicks money, and then I'll just do.
I agree.
Do you have any questions as far as the New York Knicks are concerned?
Oh no, nothing regarding New York Knicks. I just want to know if you guys saw any playoff games, any football games. What do you think? Who's gonna make it to the Super Bowl and who's gonna win it?
Honestly,
I'm going with Seattle. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Honestly, I don't want Seattle to go anywhere, just for the fact that I know the Jets are pursuing Dan Quinn, and the faster the Seattle Seahawks get eliminated, the faster we can make that happen. I know you guys know that Rex Ryan joined the Buffalo Bills. I think that's a terrible decision just because he's put himself in the same category with the Jets. You got a good defense. You don't have a quarterback. Your offense is terrible. He's put himself into a market a lot of players don't want to go to. I mean, who in the world wants to go to Buffalo when they got an option to go to Jacksonville or Miami? To me, he's taken a position to be more comfortable. He took a comfortable role to go back to the same position. I know Buffalo gave him a lot of money. The best thing he could have done is go to the Atlanta Falcons. But as far as my Super Bowl take right now, I'd rather see Green Bay or Indianapolis take it just because I hate the Patriots. That's coming from a Jets fan. Go ahead, Raul.
It's going to be Seattle. I've been saying this on the record since last year. Seattle's going to two-peat. There's no question about it. They're just ready. They're just the team to beat.
The Super Bowl's in Phoenix, right?
Yes, in Arizona. That's correct.
Listen,
who's going to win?
My take. Any team but the Patriots. Dude, you know how I hate the Patriots. I'm a Giants fan. I hate Patriots with all my passion. You know, I live in Boston, so I can't stand Patriots. So anybody else but the Patriots.
You live behind enemy lines, my friend.
I am inside the enemy lines.
So, one quick thing I do want to mention is everybody talks about Peyton Manning and his career. For the career that he has had and the players he's been compared to, for him to have this type of off-season, not off-season, but playoff record, for him to have only one Super Bowl ring, and the way he lost the game that he lost today, does he put himself in the same category as, I hate to say this, Tom Brady, John Elway? Does he put himself in the same category as Montana, Steve Young, Rallo?
No way. His brother's even better than him. I'm going to say that right now. Even though his brother hasn't been playing well the past 3 to 4 years consistently, he's not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Regular season, yes. Not in the playoffs. He's nowhere near those guys.
Listen, with all the weapons that he has, Demetrius Thomas, I don't know, Wes Welker, he got the other Thomas guy, the running backs. With all the offense that he has, to perform like this in playoffs is absolutely unacceptable. And like Raul said, there's no way I would put him on a top list. I think as much as I hate Brady's better. Eli has won 2 championships, performed better under pressure than his brother does. Aaron Rodgers is better. Even Tony Romo, I'd rather take Tony Romo under pressure than I'd take Peyton Manning. So I definitely wouldn't put him, say, he's one of the greatest, like ESPN advertise every other day. He's good. He's one of the greatest during the regular season, like Raul said. But when it comes to pressure and when it counts, he chokes.
That's a good point. One thing I do want to mention is we're living in a society that's very sensitive to stats. We sit there, we look at touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, all these things. And I watched a documentary on Joe Namath, obviously way before my time, but they talked about how, inconsiderate he was with the football and how he would throw interceptions and fall back and take sacks, completion rate would down. But he was a true winner, and he, obviously won a Super Bowl for the New York Jets. So, what's frustrating is we sit here. Obviously, there's channels like ESPN where they constantly dissect these things. But, do we live in a society that's very, very constantly watching stats, and is that really fair for the quarterback position? What is the true meaning of a quarterback? Is it really winning, or is it about completion percentage? It's about touchdowns compared to interceptions. What's your take on that, Ron?
To me, the quarterback has to have mind over matter. It's all about within your mind. Forget about what everybody else say. You're going to have your naysayers and your haterations all the time. You have to have mind over the matter. When I look at the football field, I look at beyond the yards. I'm thinking beyond expectations, putting myself in a situation nobody think I could do. When these quarterbacks is being pacified and sissified and being brought into all this stat stuff, like you say, it's just ridiculous. It's a waste of time. This is why I left ESPN a while back, because it's too much political correctness. All the stats and reading this. I don't have time for prompts and looking at the sheets. I want to speak my mind. These quarterbacks don't have a mind of their own. They got to have the offensive coach tell them what to do, the head coach tell them what to do. Let the man play his football like Joe Namath and them guys played, James Brown, them guys. They don't need nobody to tell them what to do. They knew what they had to do. That's why it's a downside society today. It's everything got to be this and that. Whatever happened to using your mind over matter? That's my take on that.
D?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I will take winning over stats. I mean, I think if you ask Peyton Manning, would he rather give up all those MVPs and all those yard, stats and all that, and instead of one ring, have 4 rings, he would say any time of the day. You know what I'm saying? Who cares about the stats? You got to go out there and be tough-minded and be tough on the field and win. That's all anybody cares about. You know, throw 2 interceptions, but throw the last touchdown of the game and win the game. Nobody cares about those interceptions anymore. You know, you got to be a winner. And with that said, I totally agree with you guys. Stats, you just got to throw them away and just look at the person's character and how he's built and what type of, person he is. If he's a winner or if he's a loser under pressure.
Well, if that's the case, Geno Smith is the best quarterback. No, I'm just kidding.
Please.
He's more into that flamboyant stuff than playing football. He should not even be on the football field, for crying out loud. Let him go ticket his show. Let him go to a 2-ticket show and learn some real football. He disrespected Joe Namath. Who you disrespecting, Geno Smith?
He's too worried about signing with Jay-Z's whatever it's called.
Oh gosh. This is crazy.
That's the truth. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, I'm out of all my questions. If you guys have anything further you guys want to talk about, I'm here to listen. Otherwise, it was a really productive show. I thought we covered a lot of Knicks. Definitely got into some of the football stuff. But no, overall, I mean, I'm looking forward to a very productive offseason for the New York Knicks. And right now, I still sit there and watch Knicks games. I watch them not to win. I watch them just to evaluate players and see how they respond in certain scenarios. So, I don't expect us to be able to turn anything around, but to see, if Hardaway Jr. can make more out of his minutes, Early can do more out of his minutes, Galloway being able to produce more on the court. So, what's your guys' take on that? And I'm going to let you guys wrap it up. Rallo?
All in all, it's going to be an interesting 2015 season. This is going to be an interesting year for sports in general. By the way, I want to say to Derek Jeter and to all the fans, he's the last icon for New York. Nobody else after that.
That's true.
There's nobody else after that. It's New York is not the same without him. But, the Knicks will be back on the scenes 2015. Expect some surprises to happen.
Good call. Right now, if you think about it, if you honestly sit there and think about it, New York does not have a face, and I felt like Derek Jeter was the New York's face for at least the past 15 years.
Listen, Derek Jeter, true champion. That was a true champion, and it's sad to see that he is not only the face of New York Yankees, but is not the face of sports in the United States. But with that said, we can't just cling to these players forever. He was great while he was playing. Now that he's retired, lots of respect to him, and we appreciate for whatever he has done for the sport. Just to wrap it up, I really want to appreciate Rollo for coming on, and having this conversation with us tonight. We definitely would love to do this, some other time again, on different topics. And hopefully we'll have more guests coming on the line. I feel these Google Plus, conversations are more productive than just individuals making, videos. because we get to trade opinions and talk about different topics and hear other people's opinion and what they say. With that said, man, I really appreciate you coming on. To our fans and our subscribers, definitely look at Rollo's site, Rollo's page. Definitely subscribe to him. He has some great materials on there. And to anybody that watches our videos, thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel. Definitely comment. We would love to interact with the fans and with our subscribers. And with that said, go Knicks, go Giants, go Yankees.
They're Brooklyn Nets. That's right. I'm going to put it up in there. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. That's right. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Oh, man.
I'm going to have the ending of this video. I'm going to have the ending of this video.
Listen, he's a guest. We got to let him say, we got to let him speak his opinion. That's fine, man.
Right.
That's fine. That's your team. We respect it.
I need to be conservative. I need to cut you off at the last part. No, Rallo, thanks for coming on the channel.
Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it.
We do love the Nets. Even though it's tough sharing New York with you guys, but it is what it is. Please watch Knicks Bros TV. Definitely, I'm going to be making a lot of off-season New York Jets videos. Definitely stay tuned for that. Anything else more to say? Have a good night. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you guys on the next.